outgoing White House senior advisor Omarosa, blasting the White House for, quote, racially charged exchanges inside the West Wing. And tonight, despite the White House saying it has a diverse team, Omarosa is insisting that is not the case.
I worked with 30 assistants to the president, and I would look to my left and look to my right, and the only people who were there were folks that didn't look like you and I. There was a lack of diversity that I will acknowledge, and at times it was very lonely.
Out front now, Pastor Mark Burns. He's a member of Donald Trump's Evangelical Council. He's also friends with Omarosa Manigault-Newman. And I appreciate your time, Pastor Burns. Good to have you back on the program. Look, I know you just had a chance to speak with... good to have you. I know you just had a chance to speak with Omarosa. You just spoke to her. How is she doing?
Well, she's doing great. I mean, she is, she's still a strong supporter of the President of the United States. She's still a fighter for minorities in our country. And, again, if you've ever known Omarosa, she is a staunch supporter of Donald J. Trump, and she's going to continue to still be.
So let me ask you about this issue, though, of race in the White House that she's now been very open about. She flat out said there was no one at the table that looked like her. Here's a picture. This is Trump's senior staff being sworn in. You can see it as well as I can see it, right? It's a whole lot of white men, a couple white women, and Omarosa. You were just at the White House, and again, you look at this picture, and, there's a whole lot of white guys and a few women, and then there's you behind the president. Does this White House have a diversity problem, Pastor?
Well, I don't think the White House is the issue. I think the issue is what the institution, especially within, and I'm going to challenge the Republican Party itself. I think the challenge, and it is key, Omarosa is absolutely right. There has to be more diversity within the Republican Party. I think,
she was talking about a table at the White House. She was the only African-American in the senior staff. I mean, I'm just asking you, do you think that that's an issue?
Absolutely. Without question, I think there should be more diversity within the White House. I mean, again, I've declared it around the world. I said it at the Republican National Convention, and I'm saying it right now that under Donald Trump will be a president for all races. And the Republican Party and everyone cheered and they chanted it, but now we've got to put some action behind the excitement. I just believe without question that the President of the United States, who himself loves all Americans, let's get that clear. This is not a reflection on Donald J. Trump. But okay. I think it's a reflection on the institution that's larger than Donald Trump. And
I hear your point.
Right. We need to have more diversity in the White House.
But I also think that when you're talking about the White House, the buck stops with the person who runs the White House, and that person is Donald J. Trump. And when Omarosa spoke about this, she said it absolutely concerned her. That's her words. Absolutely concerned her when President Trump called the neo-Nazis marching with torches. And you heard the words. I heard the words. Every American heard them. It said some of them are very fine people, in quotes. That's what she said. Does that concern you as well? I mean, she may still support him, but she's admitting that absolutely concerned her.
Well, it's concerning that, again, when you look at the White House, and again, because America is made up of Latinos, America is made up of African Americans, or I just refer to as Black Americans. America is made up of Asian Americans. We're a diverse melting pot. The White House is the backbone and the center of our America. We call the United States of America.
Right.
So, without question, to me, if I was president, I would clearly be surrounded even more around people of color of all races that symbolizes America. And, and it's a little challenging for me as a black man.
I mean, the honest answer, it sounds like you're saying, is the president, needs to do better. You may support him in many ways, but you're saying he needs to do better on this issue.
Well, I think... but it's just got to go beyond just the White House. I mean, you understand?
Yes, but let's start there. Let's start there, because that's where Omarosa was. Are you admitting he needs to do better? Because it sounds like you are.
Well, without question, the White House, without question, needs to be surrounded even more around diversified people that looks like America. I mean, again, I stand behind the president 100%, but I can tell you that there's an institution larger than the president. We call it the deep state, that's larger than just Donald J. Trump. And I want to tell you, there are people who obviously don't want, the White House and don't want, America in high leadership to look like the rest of America. And I agree with Omarosa wholeheartedly. If we're going to be truly represented in the government, then yeah, without question, there should be more black people homing the halls of the high echelon of the White House, because there's still African Americans in in our country. There should be more Latinos. There should be more minorities just within the upper echelons of the White House. So I agree with Omarosa in that regard.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time, Pastor Burns. Thank you very much. Merely make the point the president has that within his full control. And next, Trump supporters reveal how they really feel about the president's tax bill.